Hello, and welcome to video 3 in our oral exams training series. This video will focus on strategies that you can use to reduce anxiety and help students feel at ease during the oral exam. After watching this video, you will be ready to explain why it's important for exam administrators to reduce students' anxiety during an oral exam, apply specific strategies to set students' expectations at the beginning of the exam session, and identify ways that you can help students feel at ease throughout the exam. Now, imagine a time that you've taken an exam in which you didn't know what to expect, or been asked to complete an assignment with an unfamiliar format. How did you feel? You may have felt nervous or anxious about how the assessment would go, what would be expected of you, and how prepared you'd be. For most undergraduates, oral exams are a new and unfamiliar format. And just as we'd expect, research shows that students often report higher feelings of nervousness and anxiety going into these assessments. Now, why does this matter? Well, besides being unpleasant, anxiety can have a big impact on learning and performance on assessments. This is because feelings of anxiety increase the cognitive load that students experience. When students are trying to manage their feelings of anxiety or worrying about what will happen next, that leaves fewer cognitive resources available to focus on the content of the assessment and the questions being asked. So, if we want our oral exams to be a good measure of student learning, it's important that we take some measures to reduce anxiety and put students at ease so they can do their best. Now, how can we do this? We'll talk through a few useful strategies. First, students report feeling less anxiety when their assessor has a calm, friendly demeanor. When a student enters the exam space, whether in person or virtual, greet them with a smile and introduce yourself. You can begin the exam period with a bit of chit-chat, perhaps asking them how their day has been. Creating a friendly atmosphere goes a long way towards putting students at ease before the exam begins. Before beginning the exam, make sure to clearly lay out guidelines for the student and let them know what to expect. For instance, if students are allowed to refer to their notes, you might remind them of this and encourage them to have their notes available to them. Share with students the time frame of the exam session and let them know how they can expect to receive feedback. Let students know what you'll be doing during the exam session. For instance, you might say, "If you see me looking down, that's because I'm taking notes on your responses. Don't worry, I'm still listening." Remind students that they don't need to answer questions immediately and that it's okay to pause to think before responding or ask you to clarify the question. And also, make sure you give students an opportunity to ask you any questions they have before you begin the exam. You may want to write out a script or use one provided by your course instructor to make sure all students receive consistent guidance before the exam begins. During the exam, be patient and allow students to respond fully before you follow up. Interrupting students can increase feelings of anxiety and pressure. If you're concerned about running out of time, you can give the student an update. For instance, you may say, "Just so you know, we have about 3 minutes left in the exam period." This allows the student to manage their own use of time. Next, remember to maintain a positive and friendly demeanor throughout the exam. One important thing is to be aware of your body language and nonverbal cues. Does your body language look positive and engaged? Generally, looking into the camera, leaning forward, nodding, and smiling are good practices to let students know you're listening and to help them feel comfortable. Finally, provide positive encouragement and validation throughout the testing session. Our next training video will explore how to provide supportive and effective feedback during the exam. So remember, putting students at ease isn't just about making them feel better. By setting a positive tone and providing clear guidance on expectations, you can help put your students in a position to do their best on the oral exam. To finish up, please take 5 to 7 minutes to reflect on these questions about the content from this video, and make sure to record your responses on our Google form. First, explain why it's important to reduce students' anxiety during an oral exam. And second, describe 3 specific strategies you can use during an oral exam to help students feel at ease. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to submit your reflection responses before moving on to the next video. We'll see you then.